there, this is Susie back again, and today she is going to talk to you about some of the indoor statement plants. Statement plants is a sort of plants that really enhances your living area, that is your lounge, dining area, your own bedroom, any part of the house actually, but mainly where you live rather than in the toilet and the bathroom. However, in front of me, I have got a selection of statement big plants, which is, you would say, over a meter tall. Now, to start off with, we have got a ficus lyrata here, which is a very, very common plant, house plants these days, and it's a very trendy indoor plant simply because people just love the leaves like a pear-shaped leaves, and it's very popular indoors. And generally, obviously, most of these plants that I'm surrounded with are tropical plants, and if you go towards Queensland, or if you've ever been to Singapore, Malaysia, and all the tropical countries, all along the equator or subtropical equatorial areas, you would find them growing outside, which suits the condition. It suits the rainfall, amount of rainfall they get, amount of sunshine they get, and the humidity together with type of soil they grow outside. Now, for us to have them indoors, there are certain indoor conditions that this plant has to adjust to. Obviously, not everywhere is tropical. Well, not really in Victoria or Tasmania, South Australia, and a lot of other parts of Australia is not as subtropical as perhaps you would go to Northern Territory, the top half of Australia, including Queensland. Now, even in Queensland, you know, this particular plant, ficus, they can grow up to huge trees, up to 30 meters, and that's not what we want inside the house. So we can control the size with the pots. It just depends the size of the pots that you put it in. The bigger the pot, the bigger, likewise, with the root system, the plants will grow. So here's one of my favorites, and although in here in Victoria, New South Wales, and other bottom half of Australia, you would definitely need them inside the house rather than outside. And here is another good one that I really like, is Lucuella ramsay. It's actually quite sort of a small plant right now, but what happens to the leaves is the leaf literally is a lot more denser and a lot more cuts in them, and it looks really like a fern, a big round fern, and it's just spectacular. If you Google Lucuella ramsay, it's one of the indoor plants that it's just a spectacular show inside your house if you decide to have one of these plants as a statement plant. I absolutely love what I'm surrounded by here because they are easy care. They don't really need that much of water, and the amount of, they would also like the good amount of sunlight, but make sure that it is placed in a nice, brightest position inside your house. And even this lyrata doesn't mind morning sun, same as Lucuella doesn't mind morning sun. And from Lucuella we come to Strelitzia. Strelitzia is, as you know, there are 2 or 3 different types of Strelitzia, and the one that I particularly like is this particular Strelitzia, which is the Reginae. The Reginae does not grow as tall as Nicolai. Nicolai is a huge, humongous Strelitzia with blue purpley flowers, and this particular one is like a parrot, you know, with orange, bit of blue in it, and you can also now get yellow one, and the flowers literally look like a parrot. Now, this is normally the size of Reginae. Reginae does not really grow, as I said before, about 6 to 7 meters tall like Nicolai. A lot of them like the Nicolai's leaf, which is a lot broader, is more wider, and it is okay inside the house for certain time, you know, like when it grows really tall, it will hit the roof or the ceiling of your house. And to have it in a, like, if you want something as small as this, which does not grow more than 1 meter to 1.5 meters, Strelitzia reginae, or birds of paradise as is commonly known as, is one of your best bets to have inside your house. And really easy care yet again. Even if you forget to water this plant, they're not going to die on you. The leaves might get a bit droopy, and that's when you feed them with water and fertilize them once a month, you know, and perhaps change it to a bigger pot. This is a 20 centimeter pot. It could go a little bit wider. I think it's a 20 centimeter pot. You can make it into a bigger pot and plant it in a nice display pot. Would look really beautiful. Any corner of your living areas. I just love it because I love the way the leaves are. It's slender, and it's more controllable compared to Nicolai. One of the most beautiful species, really. And here is another one called ruby. This is the ficus elastica ruby, as we all know as a rubber plant. And this one has got a bit of purpley, whitey sort of edges to it, and a bit of variegation in there. And they also make a beautiful indoor plant, and you can actually control it, the size of the pot. I mean, as you know, they grow into trees, big trees, huge trees, up to 30 meters. And we just love them because of the leaves that they have. You can polish your leaves, make it nice and shiny, and they just look spectacular. Any part of the house, as long as it's placed in a bright position, because anything variegated needs to variegate themselves with a lot of intensive bright lighting, which is the natural light, rather than putting them in a sunlight. If you place them in a sunshine or in a sunlight, more likely you will burn the leaves of every one of these indoor plants. So it's very important to have them in a brightly intense bright light coming through the windows, where it would achieve the most natural light in your home. Here's another Strelitzia that I do have, and I just love them. And coming from there, here's a few more that I would like to show you. This is a Tanaki, which is same as the one of these I was showing you. It's the same family. And Tanaki has got, as you can see, the leaves are just gorgeous. It has got lovely green, light green, with a lovely burgundy marking on it, and beautiful white edges. I mean, this is just one of the most spectacular, loveliest plant that I could recommend for inside the house. Yet again, bright light, bright littered area to get the intensity on the variegation. If you want variegation, it does require bright lighting. So that's very important with all ficuses that I have. And talking about the ficus, I also have a burgundy, which I'm going to grab it and show it to you. This is the, I also have the burgundy. As you can see in a burgundy, you do not have any form of variegation or anything, just beautiful burgundy, deep burgundy leaves. If you put them in brightly lit area, and you know, all these ficuses don't mind early, very early dim sunlight, you know, for about half an hour. They can cope with some sunlight, which is the earliest one, as I'm repeating, because it's important that you don't have it in the sunlight all day. This one will change its leaf color to deep burgundy the more light you show to this particular ficus, the rubber plant. It's just one of the also nicest statement plants you can have for your indoor living areas. Coming to that, I have this particular peace lily. This particular peace lily, as you can see, has the quite large leaves compared to our normal peace lily, which is, you know, little leaves with white peace coming through. This particular peace lily is obviously a bigger version of it, called Spathiphyllum sensation, and that's what is scientifically known as, or botanical name is Spathiphyllum sensation, and we call them peace lily. And as you can see, it's got beautiful white leaves there, beautiful white flowers, same as the small peace lily that we have. I love this particular statement as a statement plant because of the leaves. The leaves really has got very special markings on them, and it's huge, and it's a standout plant really. So if you're thinking about having peace lily, and if you've got the little one with the little leaves, try the big one, because as I say, you can leave it in a corner and it will just fill up nicely, and it could reach up to 1 meter to 1.5 meters, and it's just beautiful. And if you can get it flowering, it's a bonus. From the big sensation, we come to ctenanthes. I love ctenanthes because ctenanthes, there are very many different types of ctenanthes. This particular one is, it's got a really big name which I can't even pronounce it, so I will leave it, but as you can see, the height is about 1 meter, and this is probably its full grown length, and that's the size of it. And if you leave it somewhere placed beautifully in your lounge, living areas, dining room, even in your bedroom, they are good air purifiers, and you know, they keep your oxygen level up in your bedroom, lounge, anywhere. They are renowned for good air purification plants. Here's another version of it. This one is called Grey Star, and I think this is Sentosa or something, but it's got a longer name than that though. The Grey Star is also very pretty, and this is in a small container, and in time it will be same size as that. You know, this is just a baby, and they just also make a very nice statement plants. And I like to emphasize again that these are the tropical outdoor plants where they grow under the trees, where it's full of humus, full of dead leaves, organic matter, and a lot of moss growing, a lot of peat moss, you know, all this decomposed plant material, leaves and stuff. That's what they thrive on. So make sure that you do provide a lot of those kind of material to this particular plant, like in organic fertilizers, organic matter, and a good premium quality soils to go with it, and a very good drainage throughout their potting time that you have with these particular plants. And then you will have not one problem going brown leaves, grey leaves, whatever leaves, and they will go yellow or anything, as long as you can control the amount of water it gets during winter and the amount of sunlight or light, bright light, it gets into them. So that's something that you need to really control. Don't just put this plant straight into the sunlight and expecting them to thrive, because you need to introduce morning, half an hour, very early morning sun, from half an hour then increase to an hour and so forth. You may be able to train these particular plants to love natural sunlight as well. Now, coming from these ones, I have this particular parlor palm. Parlor palm can grow up to about the same height as that, about 1 meter to 1.5 meters. This is also just in a little pot, I suppose, and it's just in a growing mode, and in time it will just keep on giving you more of this leaf-like palm. And they also make a very nice statement plant in your home. Coming from there, we have this happy plant, which I really, really love, the draceana messengiana. This is one of my favorite plants. They are one of the slow-growing plants around that you may not get up to this height, 1 meter high in a year. To get 1 meter height in a year, it's very difficult for this plant because it is a very, very slow grower. I have got a messengiana myself, and I think I've had it for nearly over 10 years with me, and it is probably about meter to 1.5 meters. It has grown in that 10-year period. So you can imagine this plant isn't the fastest of the growers. But one thing about this plant is probably one of the hardiest plants that you can have inside your home, where if you didn't water for 2 to 3 weeks, it will just survive. You know, it's a survivor. And I water mine probably even summer or winter about once a month, and normally I forget to water this particular plant because it's in another room. And whenever I go past, I'm thinking, oh, I must give my messengiana a drink. So that's normally about a month, 3 weeks, I think about watering it, because one thing good about it, it doesn't die, leaves are still looking fresh, and you don't get brown bits if you really do not water often enough. You won't get the brown bits. And don't forget, most of these plants love their rainfall in the natural environment without any chemicals added to any of their waterfall, you know, the raindrops that they get. So ours is obviously been treated, so we tend to have all sorts of chemicals in our water, and that can be also a main factor why some of the leaves do go brown as well. So if you are one of those fussy ones that like to give water, natural water, or the rainwater, or distilled water, or filtered water, do so, because it does help in plant growth and the health of the plant. If it's the more sort of natural water with natural environment. Now, as I think I've finished showing you all my loveliest statement plants here. I just love them. I just adore them. Any part of the house, it is just awesome, awesome bits and pieces here that you can actually go out and do a bit of shopping and have your little lounge living space full of beautiful, luscious, green-leafed or coloured-leaf, variegated leaf plants. Now, I hope I have covered all essentials in there. especially the feeding. Make sure you feed once a month. Make sure they are all placed in the bright light, and knowing that they are tropical plants, try to give as much natural matter, natural fertilizers as possible. And that's all for me today, and I will catch up with you with some other beautiful plants in the future. Take care and have a good day.